do. And Anthony was going to leak that footage to the ops. He said, I'm going to give them strategy and let them know what they should do. Welcome back, everybody, to another New York Session live stream. I'm your host, Roy Dunia. I want to show you guys this little before and after. This is the 30-minute chart from NASDAQ. Okay. I just want to make sure I line this up so it looks correct. Okay. So the piece that we were looking at is this chunk right here. And if you look at this markup, this is from the 8th. This is last week on, somebody tell me what the 8th was. I think it was a Wednesday, right? I don't know. I'm dyslexic. Close. The market was sitting just above our buy entry. I was waiting for a push through the zone. So around this 1880 level, down to the 1880 level, a little bit through it, break, retest, and recovery. If we look at what actually happened, the market came down, came to this 900 level, broke through it, and hit 873. So the ideal entry that we had here was 1880. Okay, so just above it was 121, and then right below it was 80. Those are the two scaling entries. So we have 1880. Actually, the market did dip a little bit below. The original trade ended up hitting stops, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going through looking at this real quick. Okay, so the first area at 121 got rejected. I think the trade ended up going 1-to-1 and then came all the way back down. This is the second trade that we entered. This was on Monday. So let me get this before and afters here. This is the 4-hour. Okay, beautiful. So same trade idea. The first trade had an early entry. It's an early entry is indistinguishable from the wrong trade. You could have all the right parameters, but if you enter early, it's basically the same as being wrong, which is what happened that first time. But this was the re-entry markup at 898. We took this live on Monday. And then, of course, we had this beautiful pullback yesterday. Beautiful pullback. I never got in the re-entries because price never hit that 88.6 zone that I was waiting for. And then we had a beautiful push for a solid 4.3 to 1 R on this trade. Solid stuff. Yeah, we can go back to the recordings. I know some of you guys have been patiently waiting for the interview with Dr. Olson. Let me see if they even show it. Okay, here it is. All right, so long-awaited interview with the founder of Oanda, Dr. Richard Olson, great friend of Chart Addicts and obviously speaker at the FX Summit and all the rest. He's going to be talking about, is your broker safe? We'll be talking about offshore brokers. We'll be talking about the prop firm situation. Surprisingly enough, Dr. Olson had heard about the prop firm situation. And he gives us his take on what's happening, what regulators are getting right and wrong, and where he thinks the prop firm space and the brokerage space is going. Highly recommend you guys check that out. And if we get 100 likes on today's stream, I will drop this video today, right after the live stream. So we don't have to wait till tomorrow. If you guys drop 100 likes on this live stream, we'll release the video today. Deal? Beautiful. If someone can keep an eye on the YouTube stream and just let me know whenever we hit 100, that'd be beautiful. Sam, good morning. Chris, good morning. Marksman Jay, good morning. Nyla, I know you all are proud of me because not only were we on time today, we were early. That's called redemption. That's called personal growth. All right. Before it gets crazy in here, let me show you guys the trades I'm watching. Very, very straightforward stuff. All right. Whoever got their mic unmuted, let's get that taken care of real quick. Actually, I believe someone had posted this already. Look at this, guys. How much easier can it get? How much easier can it get? Like, really? When that fib lines up with price action like that? Come on. Oh my God. How much cleaner can it get? Wow. Just wow. Get rid of everything. Leave the range. Discount premium support resistance. Good morning, chart addicts. TP is the 88.6 on both sides. Entry is 88.6 on both sides. Support resistance, discount premium already set. Buy low and sell high, people. This is not rocket science. Now, those are that's the higher time frame trade idea. If we're going to look at specific ranges and specific session times, and we see the low of Asia, we see the expansion here, we see the liquidity grab through, could we just do a double bottom and push in the morning? Could we just buy this and make our lives easier? Like, Roy, how far is it going to dip down? 886 from the break. This is money right here. So if we go up first, we can sell down. If at the market open, this thing wants to go down first, we can buy at 112 and then sell at 330 and then buy again at 950. It's buy low, sell high. There's the higher time frame 4-hour range. Those are going to be the highest probability trades. The ones at higher time frame areas of structure are always going to be higher probability than smaller intraday range scalping trades. However, these are the quickest entries during a market open. I'm not necessarily that we trade right at the market open, which is right this second. I'm going to wait 30 to 45 minutes after the open to take an entry. But typically, if we're looking for a scalp or an intraday position just from, to capture a small piece of this range, using the intraday 30-minute, 15-minute, 1-hour ranges or 1-hour structure, that's going to be the easiest way to find those scalp entries and just sort of get in and out. All right, George, good morning. Bobby, good morning. Castro, we in this big ant. You're lucky I'm out here crushing it, Ant. This would have been a bad day. Desi, James, Jensen, Milad, and by the way, James, take all the time you need, bro. I saw the what's it called? I talked the whole situation. You already know we got a spot for you whenever you're ready. Game time. Jensen, let's crush it. Jensen, did we get a podcast scheduled? I think we were supposed to. Milad is in here. Milad, Sabah al khair. Roman, Sandra, Shan, and Walter. Got a big crew here today, people. Got a big crew. All right, 886 from the break, and then we have another 886 all the way down here. Make this one a little bit thinner. Get off this, get back to the higher time frames. Clean it up, get rid of the session ranges, get rid of the annotations here. My dude, Bobby. Yep. Good stuff. Says, damn, what an opening. Straight to hell. A little lesson here in trading psychology. Do you guys see the reaction? Do you guys see the immediate reaction that the market gets out of traders? It's like, oh my God, it's the market open. There's a fast move. That's like saying, oh my God, it's the morning. Why is the sun coming up? It's like this is one of those it's a Jim Rohn joke, but it's like if a guy comes out and says, sun comes down every night, he goes, what's happening? What's happening? Said it probably means he hasn't been around very long. It's the same exact idea. Do some back testing. Make sure that you guys are looking at session times. That way you're not surprised by literally how the market moves. Because it hasn't changed in the past 5 years that I've been here at the market open. I don't think it will change ever. So yeah, like probably 10 minutes of studying and you'll start to understand the market open and how NASDAQ really moves. And a 7-point move is not straight to hell, by the way. Like okay, this is more than 7. This is like a 50-point move. But always zoom out. Have we gone to hell? Looks like we're still holding this area of support here. What I could see is that we've been creating a lot of the support. If we can just get a grab through to take out all this liquidity and then continue, I think that we could see this. If there is a bearish scenario in March or in the next few weeks, I would say that this would be it. Just a deep liquidity grab before the trend continuation. All right. I have a lot of levels on my chart. Don't let that confuse you. We have scalp trades, we have swing trades, and we have intraday trades here. Now, you guys know how I feel about shorting in a bullish market. So out of all these trades, I would most likely take this one and this one. The bottom entry clearly being the highest probability, the highest quality trade. This trade here is going to be a quick in and out. It'll probably end up being something like a 1.7 to 1 R. Take full profits. All right. That's how it'll go. And if I don't take full profits, I'll leave just that smallest position running, depending on the account. All right, let's do a quick reminder before we start taking trades and before things get crazy. Number one, early bird tickets for the FX Summit 2024 conference are on sale. Head over to fxsummit2024.com and the link is in the description. It's the #1 conference for traders, investors, and entrepreneurs in the world, hosted by us here at Chart Addicts. Thousands of people from around the world have attended these conferences. And this year we're taking it international to Dubai to make sure that everyone who couldn't get a visa to the States has an opportunity to go and experience something this incredible. If you guys have been to the summit, leave your honest review in the comment section. Let other folks see your opinions, just in case they want to make a more informed decision. That'd be appreciated. One last reminder before we get this thing started, because the markets are already moving. The next NAS100 masterclass, which, as we said, we revamped to include a lot of the new information, such as how to scale a personal account versus a prop account, futures versus CFDs, the real difference in adjusting the strategy based on the rules of the prop firm, or if you're trading your own capital. And then we're also going to go into a bit more detail about 2024, which models specifically have been working the most, and then how to optimize this strategy to get the best results. That's going to be on March 21st, which I believe is a week from today. All right. The cost of the class is $500. You'll make this back in 1 week of trading. But the more that you keep blowing accounts, the more that you keep blowing money on challenges, the more that you keep trying to figure it out and waste time, ask yourself, like, if you could be making a couple grand a month off of prop firms by having a strategy, how much is it costing you every month to not know how to do that? The answer is a couple thousand. And so the sooner you get on the train, the sooner you get some momentum going for your trading, with a clearly defined system that you can trust, and then you can just rinse and repeat, the sooner you're going to start to see the results you're looking for. chartaddictsfx.com, head to live classes. Link is in the description. All right, let me know if there's any questions you all have. I'll go through fundamentals a bit later. We'll talk about the CPI print, what that really means, what are some of the best and worst performers. But I really want to go through y'all's questions. I know you guys are on socials. I know you guys have some of these news apps. You might get some market news coming to your phone and you're like, does this matter? Does it not matter? How does this affect prices? Does it affect NASDAQ? And so let me know if there's anything that came up that you guys would like some clarification on. Yeah, 9:30 open was scary to me. Hopefully not anymore. Once you understand how markets work, it should eliminate a lot of this, like the boogeyman. It should eliminate a lot of the power that the market has over us by identifying exactly how it moves. I said this, we were doing a 3-day mindset boot camp a few days ago with the Chart Addicts team, and I was telling folks that if you want to avoid the psychology issues that most people deal with, get clear. Most of the time, people are hesitating on an entry, not because there's something wrong with them, not because of their childhood trauma, not because of their relationship with money, not because your parents always told you to save up that money and now you're scared to put money at work. None of that. Okay, maybe some of that. Okay, that's what psychology is for. That's what therapist is for. If you want to avoid all of that, imagine you had a clearly defined plan. So now instead of guessing where you'd like to take trades, instead of being like, well, this looks like a good area and we'll attack, and then you start to layer on confirmations. So you start with your bias and then you start to find confirmations that agree with you, the confirmation bias. That's not how trading works. You have to be as objective as possible. And so when I look at my strategy, I find my levels, I draw my fibs, I find these zones, and there's a 70-80% chance that the market will do what I'm expecting on these zones because of this positive expectancy system. It's been statistically tested to show that out of 100 times that I do this, 75 out of 100 or 80 out of 100 will play out. So now I know that that's the game. I know I could lose. I'm not sitting here like, oh, when I backtested it said 100 out of 100 trades will win. It said 75 out of 100. Now, I don't know about you guys, right? I'm going to do some simple math here. That means 75% of the trades are going to win. And then here's the secret. I don't know which 75 it's going to be. It could be the first 75, the last 75, or it could be split up in between. And everyone here who's been trading longer than 2 weeks knows that losses come in clusters. They come in clusters of 3s, so clusters of 5s. You're not just going to have one loss and never see a loss again. What if you took all 25 losses at the beginning? And then the next 75 are winners. The issue is people would get 4 or 5 trades in and start strategy hopping because they think the strategy doesn't work. So number one, understand your edge, understand the statistical probability of it playing out and the expected win rate if you do everything correctly. All right, so the expected win rate of the strategy is about 85%. Because of human error, we're going to have a win rate of 70-75%. Because sometimes we might enter prematurely, we might enter a bit too heavy, have to get out of the trade and unwind. We might close the trade too soon and not capture the full R&R of the trade. So in order to avoid trading psychology, you don't have to be Gandhi. I tell them this all the time. You don't have to sit there with the temptation in front of you and just try to willpower your way through it. If you have a clearly defined system that takes into account and takes into consideration your risk strategy, your personality trait, habits, things to watch out for, and your trading system, criteria to execute, and trade management system, you shouldn't be struggling that much with psychology. It either will or it won't. Now, if you don't know what you're looking for and you don't know where you expect price to go, you don't know where to enter from, I'd be anxious too. I was there. All right, so get clarity. That's how you avoid trading psychology. How many strategies do you have? So I know thousands of concepts, but I only use one strategy today. So I've basically taken the thousands of concepts that I've learned in trading over the years, and I've pieced it all together into one easy to understand system that takes into account the trend, the volume, the structure, and yeah, discounted prices to operate from. All right, good stuff. So yesterday we had CPI, Consumer Price Index. Tomorrow we have the Producers Price Index, as well as core retail sales and retail sales. Weekly unemployment claims, this comes out every week on Thursdays. It just kind of shows a week-to-week number of the number of people who are filed as unemployed. Let's do PPI. So PPI has been flat since October of last year, which is good. That means that there has not been a change in the prices of goods and services produced. And then there was a slight uptick in February. That's not good. So I talk about this all the time, but a lot of these data releases are just an early indicator for another data release. So we just had CPI come out higher than expected. And so the economists, what goes through everyone's head is, okay, maybe it's just 1 month. Maybe next month we go back to normal. But then we check the PPI print and we realize, okay, they're expecting a forecast of zero point 0.2, by the way. And so we had a big jump in January. And then now we're expecting another climb in February, meaning that a month or a month and a half later, consumer prices will start to reflect. If producers are paying more to make the stuff, don't think they're just going to accept lower profits. They're going to pass that cost on to the customer. And the customer will end up bearing those high prices. So PPI, very important. And of course, all of these news events are just indicators for what the Fed might do at the next meeting. Everyone's waiting to see when Jerome Powell is going to pivot. And I think that if we check the CME Fed Watch tool, which tracks the probability of, not the probability, the likelihood of a Fed rate hike or cut in the next meeting based on Fed futures contracts that are currently active. Okay, so this is the target range. Let's do compare. Actually, let's do probabilities. Nice. I love the CME group. Even though I'm a NASDAQ boy, even though I just came back from the New York Stock Exchange, shout out to Peter, shout out to the NYSE, the CME got it right with this Fed Watch tool. Very convenient, very effective, and just easy to follow. So there's a 99% chance of no rate hikes at the March 20th meeting next week. There's a 99% chance that rates stay the same, is what the market is telling us. There's a 90% chance that we don't see a rate hike in the May Fed meeting. And then as of right now, the highest likelihood is that there's a almost 60% chance that we get the first rate cut of the year in the June Fed meeting. All right. So as of right now, there's a 99% chance that we ain't cutting rates in May or in March, excuse me, which could lead to a bearish March or at least a retracement, just to kind of let the market cool off, take in this news. And then everyone's expecting, okay, we have 2 months between then. The Fed is really not going to cut rates, because keep in mind the consensus going into 2024 was that the Fed was supposed to cut 6 or 7 times, basically once every Fed meeting. And then now we're only seeing about 3 rate cuts on the board, which is going to be problematic if markets are not prepared. Okay. Price is coming very close to entry. I'm going to be waiting for a push through this 111 zone. I'm going to take a scalp. If the market breaks down from here, then we'll just buy it again at 940. All right, so I want to see a liquidity grab through and then push up. If it doesn't, if it just does like a little soft touch and release, I'll just let it go. I'm not too adamant about trading in the middle of the range, but trend is trend and structure is structure. So that's why it's a scalp opportunity. But if I'm trading in a low probability area, such as the middle of a range, number one, I'm more careful with my risk. So if I was risking, let's say 0.3%, now I might be risking 0.2 instead, or 0.15. Something just really reducing my risk because of the location. The second one is I'm more patient waiting for confirmations. So if this exact scenario was happening with a break and with a bounce and retest at the daily support, I'd already be in. I'd be in a scaling position. That's my tester. And then if the market did dip below, I would enter 2/3 of my position or 3/4 of my position down here. Because we're in mid-range, I'd like to see the liquidity grab through first, and then I could enter on the break back in or on the retest back inside. All right, I'm going to grab some water real quick. I'm kind of getting this dry mouth. I'll be back in like 40 seconds. If this thing wicks through and starts to close back above, yeah, that trade is valid. I'll be in. Give me about 30 seconds. All right, 30 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Just as a reminder, if this live stream hits 100 likes by the time we get off, we'll be releasing the new podcast with Dr. Richard Olson, founder of Oanda, who will be talking about the prop firm situation as well as, is your broker safe? He's exposing the shady practices in the brokerage industry that has been going on for way too long. So looking forward to sharing this with you guys. Drop a like on this stream so we can release that today. All right, good rejection here. I'm going to enter this off my phone. I'll take a paper trade too, just to show you guys what my entry would look like. But let me make sure I enter this order. Some of my paper entries have been better than my live entries because I'm entering it first for you guys, and then I'm kind of getting a worse entry. That don't make no sense. Go ahead and that, put the SL below structure. Set a hard TP at the high. Actually, I'll set a hard TP right here at the 886. All right, so this would be a scalp trade. The market could just reject here with a wick and then come crashing all the way down. It could push up to this 88.6, then come all the way down. So this is not going to be the trade that's going to take us to new highs. At least I don't believe so. This is just going to be a scalp trade because I don't think that we're going to be able to get these entry opportunities for another probably hour, maybe an hour and a half. And so, I'm going to be scalping today, getting on and off the charts in a timely manner. Okay. Now, granted, we are in the middle of the range, so keep in mind what I said about keeping your risk in check, especially if we're trading off the daily zones, you can put your full size position. Trading in the middle of the range, typically, what's the word I want to use? More sketchy. All right. So reduce the risk appropriately and then make sure that you're not overstaying your welcome. You're like, oh, this trade's going to fly forever. Maybe not. So let's treat these trades according to the probability of them playing out. David, I got you. I'm going to look at US 30 here in just a sec. Bitcoin starting to do a retracement. Gold, wow. Beautiful. We'll go through gold in a sec. This one's gonna take me a sec here. That rejection is brutal. Nothing on the dollar. Uh, I was waiting for this lower entry, but if Chart Addicts members, if you're paying attention, here, break, retest, triple bottom, continuation. Flip that around. I'd see this. Push back inside the range to about 38,718. Okay, once we grab that liquidity, ready to continue back up. That's what I would be waiting for US 30 is let it tap this 39,175, let it come back and retrace back inside this area of liquidity, and then continue back to the upside. 38,720 would be the zone to watch. Oh, UJ, beautiful, beautiful rejection off the previous lows. Does the strategy work on every pair, Roy? Yeah, it does. On every pair, on every time frame. Incredible. So buy limit at 146.75. Set the alert so we get notified. Alert is set. Entry is set. SL below the low. We're looking at 146. So this would be 145.7. Actually, 145.38. Okay, my alert is set. I want to see a retest of that entry zone at 146.7, and then that's where I'll be looking for this swing trade. So I'm actually moving UJ up on the list. UJ just graduated. Euro USD heading towards that 1.106 entry price, looking for an entry there. All right, no rejection so far, or at least it's a very weak rejection. Somebody who's watching on YouTube, how many likes do we have on the stream so far? Just to keep track. Roy, do you mind explaining the science behind the 88.6 strategy? What makes that zone so attractive? That's something I cover in the masterclass. I can't really cover it here because it's a little bit too valuable, and so I'd have to break down the context first. But yeah, just know that there is the way that you said it, the way that you framed it was actually correct. There is a science to the madness. So it kind of just seems like, oh, like if I just enter off of this one fib level, then I'll just keep making money. If you don't understand direction, structure, and some of these other key components, the fib itself is not going to make you money. If anything, you might get over cocky just using the fib alone and end up losing a lot of money. All right, Ant says we're at 40 likes. Guys, let's get it up to 100 likes so we can drop the latest podcast with the founder of Oanda. Drop a like on this stream. We'll drop the podcast right after this. Literally right after this stream. While we're on this stream, I'll make it public. All we got to do is just drop a like. Okay, so someone's saying 41 likes, someone's saying 27 likes, someone's saying 54. Which one of y'all is lying? Those are completely different numbers, people. I'm gonna do something interesting. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys have heard about this Traders Fight League fight that is coming up. Has anybody even heard about it? Have you guys seen anything about it? Have you guys heard about this? There's a Traders Fight situation happening in Miami on Saturday. Did you guys hear about this? Yeah, real fighting. MMA. Are they that down bad? Hey, yo. I said, wouldn't mind seeing a few influencers get knocked the fuck out. You guys are crazy. Not really down, I mean, down bad, maybe. But it's just more so like they had real beef. Now, personally, if I have beef with you, I'm not gonna do like a sanctioned fight. I'm gonna see you when I see you, and you're gonna have to stand by all that dumb shit you said online. For me, it's a very simple formula. For them, they wanted to do a spectacle out of it. All right, cool. Put some money on the line. Dope. No problem. Let me see. Yup, Sai is fighting. Well, he's gonna try. He's gonna be doing a lot of defending. That's what I'll tell you. Only from you and this other streamer, Emmett. Cool. Heard about it. I will go when Sean Lee fights. I will even pay for tickets. You're on your own on that one. Imagine paying tickets to watch him fight. Yep. He says $200 on Storms. Yeah. If there's a bet going on, I don't even know who would be the betting favorite. What do you guys think? Roy, what is it called? You'd like to watch it? I think it's called Traders Fight League. And look, guys, I'm not sitting here advocating for any of this stuff. But let's be completely honest. Which would you all rather have? Fucking influencer guys just beefing on social media and just like always muddying up the space and then nobody ever stands by the shit they say? Or to have two gentlemen at least have enough self-respect to get in a ring, to settle their differences, and then to really get their aggression out. I have respect for people who are willing to settle their differences honestly. And that's just the way to go. So I don't like the gimmicky stuff. I think that fighting for traders is just kind of a stupid thing. But guys, after we finish this live stream at 11:30 and you go to your job and then you finish work, what are you going to do after? What are we doing after? Because if it's just scrolling on socials and watching people beef, if we're going to be doing something for an hour and a half after, I might as well go watch it in person. It started to kind of dawn on me, right? So that's my take on it. I have been training one of the two fighters, and let me just say, I am very, very impressed with the progress he's been making. So yeah, I think this is gonna be good. Unlike this trade, write this in your journal too, just for a lot of the newer traders. I know some of the experienced traders know this, but no trade should have a significant impact on your P&L. Okay, what does that mean? Most traders are looking at this confused right now because a lot of people's understanding of trading is that if I win a trade, I should make a lot of money. And when I lose, it's just been devastating. Now, why is it devastating and why is it such a big deal when you win? Typically because of over leveraging. So the phrase that I go with is that no single trade should have a significant impact on your P&L. So let's say that you did take this trade and it loses. How much did you lose as a percentage of the account or as a percentage of what you were supposed to risk? Did you follow your plan? Whatever, whatever. If the impact of the loss is so big that now you're overthinking the next trade, now you're revenge trading, now you don't want to get off the charts, now you're just frustrated with trading, you're starting to doubt yourself, you're starting to doubt all this. Typically, it's not because you lost, it's because you lost too big. And same with winning. You win a trade, now you're celebrating everywhere, you're telling everybody about it. Why? Typically because that win was outsized. It was bigger than what you were expecting, bigger than what you normally do, and you're getting that euphoric sort of elation, which could then lead you to overtrade, give the money back, and yeah. He said, "Put ICT in the ring." Chill, chill. Michael, if you're listening to this, your seat at the FX Summit 2024 conference is reserved for you. And if you're still open to do a panel, we would love to have you. Love to host it. Kit, hit me back. Okay. Kit, if you see this, hit me back. Let's set up the greatest panel of all time for traders. Said, oh, you a James fan? Not really, no, but that's my boy. All right. Everybody wants to talk shit. Like you, like I don't even know how do I say this? Like if I went to your Instagram, for example, any of you, and I took those however many pictures you had on there, and I was like, I know this guy. I know this person's life. What do you mean you know this person's life? No, no, I've seen their pictures. He had a picture with his girl. He had a picture with these two guys. Those are probably his only friends. He took a picture inside this room. That's probably the only room he ever stays in ever. He took a picture in this meal. That's probably the only meal he's ever had. This is his life. There's nothing else outside of social media but this stuff that I'm seeing. There's no other way. Now that I've said it like that, do you realize how stupid this shit is? And so a lot of people are making assumptions based on social media. They're like, oh, if someone has a supercar and they are a trader, they have to be a scammer. Guys, think about how fucking stupid that sounds. Like, who else can afford to buy these supercars? You got people making high net worth money, but even business owners, if you're working your ass off for your money, you have a large team, you're investing in R&D, you're investing in operations, you're not really splurging as much as somebody who clicked some buttons, waited 8 hours, made more money than they know what to do with, and now they're gonna go spend it. So it's important to like, am I saying that 90% of these guys are legit? Nah. 90% of this shit is all fucking foo-foo. But don't blanket statement everybody. Very important stuff. So James actually came to my house a few years ago. This is how I got introduced to him. And he had been on a tear. He had basically had a horrible accident, totaled his car, got a check for his car, get like he bet the whole check basically. He put it into a trading account and he had to make a change in his life. He really had to make some progress. Turned the 30K to I think it was 75K, which was huge at the time. He showed up to my house. His account was sitting at 75K. Okay, he flew all the way from New York, the first guest on the podcast to ever fly in. At my house, turned the 75K, right? Not on a broker that he owns or he was affiliating for, none of this stuff. Like on a third-party brokerage, turned the 75K to over 280K. All right. I woke up to go to the bathroom middle of the night. James is sitting there on the computer. I'm like, hey, what's going on, bro? This dude's in drawdown 40 grand. I wake up later in the morning. I realized he had blown that first trade, but it was already in a second trade. The second trade was now floating 120 grand. I'm telling him to cut his wins, right? You lost 40. You're now up 120. Dude, take the bag. But he had a very clear idea of how he trades and what target he was aiming for. He was looking to make $200,000 on the trade, and he knew it still had so much room to go. And so we were on the live stream. The live stream is still available on YouTube. It's public. It's 2 hours long. He shares his screen and shows us the trade live. I'm on the opposite side of the trade. So imagine he's in a sell up here, floating profits. And I took a buy at the market open live streaming because this is what we do. And I won the trade. And that was one of my biggest trading days at that point. I think this is 2020. I had made $7,000. I was over leveraged. Let's be completely clear. But I was telling him, I'm like, dude, your 200K is going to come, it's going to retrace all the way back to 70 or 80 because I'm in this buy and I'm expecting this retracement to come in. And he was unwavering. I won the trade. I closed it. The market then continued in his direction. He made the 200K and we just ended up celebrating. So I called Q Bank. So we were supposed to do an in-person podcast. So I called Q Banks and I was like, yo, one of your old students just hit 200K in a trade. And Q was having the time of his life. He was so happy for him. And so we ended up doing this legendary podcast that I think now has over 100K views. Yeah, it does. So this is the in-person podcast with me, James, and Q, kind of like mentor-mentee sort of like podcast, but also, bro, I don't care who you are. When you see one of your students doing numbers like that, you got to just take a step back and be like, damn. Not from like yeah, I'm responsible for this success. Like, dude, good shit. Like nobody does that. So You guys can go check that out. That all happened in front of my own eyes. And so a lot of the talk that I see on socials really comes from like a less informed opinion. And I would just highly recommend checking this out um, to get a better sense of what actually happened. I'd love to hear ICT. I'm waiting for it. Watch Paul and Tyson fight. I ain't watch. That's elder abuse, my boy. I'm not in none of that. No. What's the location of the summit in Dubai? So it was originally going to be Expo City, Dubai, but they did not have enough space for us. They only had a venue that was big enough for 2,200 people, and we're expecting 5,000 attendees. So we had to switch over. We're going to be at Festival City Arena. This is going to be the venue. We're locking in the final details about how long we're going to be there, everything else. But very excited for this. It's a big enough venue that we can do expo, conference, VIP event. They do concerts here. We can design it in any way that we want. Location is incredible. It's right inside of Festival City, which is the Festival City is like imagine a giant mall city. I think this is it. Yeah, it's a mall. There's hotels, there's restaurants, everything that you can imagine. All right, so I'm excited for this. It's going to be incredible. We got speakers being announced all week. Shout out to Peter Tuchman, the Einstein of Wall Street, Bob Elliott. Oh, I just announced Bob Elliott. Oh no, Bob Elliott's already announced. And then of course, we ain't dropping the Dr. Olson podcast for no reason. A little hint for you guys. So how many likes are we at right now? I told you if we hit 100, we're going to make that podcast public. What are we looking like right now? I'm seeing price reject. Enter is how to scale the positions to get a better entry. Larger position at the bottom. Now the average price for the trade got moved in. So those of you guys that are trading futures, you may have noticed that it doesn't count all your separate positions. And so what we're doing with the separate positions is we're trying to get the average price of all of those so that we have a better entry. On futures, it aggregates the orders and just gives you the average anyway. So you might have an entry up here. And then if you enter another trade, your average entry price might get moved down to a better place. With our scaling strategy, where you're entering the larger positions at the bottom, it actually moves your average price down dramatically because it'll weight this entry, weight as in, WEIGHT. It will weigh this entry uh, higher than it will weigh the first one. So I entered the 20 up here and then I entered 35 down here. So instead of just moving the average entry price a little bit down, it moved it all the way down because of how much larger that second position was. Um, yeah, I hope that makes sense. We can go through that in more detail on Saturday during the educational session. We're at 78 likes. We're about 80 or we're about 20 likes away from getting the show on the road. 20 likes away, 20 likes away, 20 likes away before we make that stream or make that video public. I remember that interview. It was a NAS short, right? Was it NAS? Shit, now I'm starting to forget. Why do I feel like it was Jur 30? But I don't trade Jur 30. So yeah, it's probably NAS. All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jeremy, is it 87 or are you dyslexic? And it's cool to be dyslexic. I'm just asking. Because everyone said 78 and you said 87. Either they haven't refreshed or my boy. It was a NAS short. Well, David is the one that edited the video and he was there in person helping set everything up. So shout out to David for being the GOAT. That was our first in-person podcast. One of the best audio engineers in the world. If you guys make music, do not cheap out though. All right. If you guys are like one of these cheapos, don't hit him up. But if you guys understand quality and you guys are willing to spend, if you make music, David Takala is your go-to. One of the best engineers on this side of the Mississippi. Shout out to you, David. David also edited every other podcast we've ever done. So like the Dr. Olson one that's about to come out, everything. Put W. Matter of fact, put W David in the chat. If we think about how much incredible content we put out over the years, to edit these videos, you got to watch it back 5, 6 times. David probably knows more about trading than me. Throw a W David in the chat if you guys have enjoyed the content over the years. That would go a long way. Also, are we in profits on NAS? Yes. So for the scalp trade, here's my partial zones. We have 160, 200, and then the last one, do not take the profits at the previous highs. If we break through the 200, I would take the profits up here at 330. All right, so we're still waiting. Not the most convincing closure, but hopefully this wick rejection is enough to at least get this retracement back up to 160, and we can protect the trade. Oh, we're throwing W's in the chats. We got 95 likes already on the stream. Shout out to you guys. Yo, they throwing W Davitos in the chat, bro. That's crazy. I appreciate you guys showing love. None of this is possible without our incredible team. I know everyone kind of sees my face and they're like, oh, that's Chart Addicts. Like, without the team, none of this happens. The summit doesn't happen. The podcast don't happen. The live classes don't happen. Nothing. Shout out to the team for real. If they don't get enough credit, hopefully this is it. Beautiful stuff. All right. Any questions regarding fundamentals, trading, anything? Or just you guys want to ask about anything outside of fundamentals, outside of trading, markets, news, current events? Keep going through this. We started at about 9:15 today. It's gonna be pretty straightforward here. Might be another probably 20, 30 minutes. We'll stick around 20, 30 minutes. We're at 107 likes. All right, I'm gonna do this from my phone on the YouTube Studio app, but I'm gonna make this public right now. Actually, not right now. I'm gonna set it to premiere right after we get off the stream, so that everybody isn't just hopping off. And maybe we'll give you guys a sneak preview here while we're all on. All right. Let me just change this up real quick. All right, good work, everybody. Good work, good work, good work. All right. It's been set in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, the podcast will drop. If you guys hit the notification bell at the bottom of this, the bell icon, it will give you a notification when the video is ready to go. So you don't have to like check back and refresh and all this stuff. It'll just send you a notification to your phone if you have your notification settings on. If your notification settings are not on, but you're on the YouTube app, it will send you a push notification. This is the easiest way to keep up to date with all the incredible content we have dropping this year. Uh, I'm not liking this trade. Now, it's technically still valid because we're still forming that rejection. We're still seeing that higher low. But if we're just going to talk about how good this trade looks, not too hot. Not too hot at all. But this is what's important about trading is how you feel versus what you do. And it's not even just trading, just life in general. How you feel and what you do have nothing to do with each other. Actually, very rarely have anything to do with each other. I don't say never, but very rarely have anything to do with each other. So I feel like this trade is going to go straight down to the second entry. I feel like this trade is faking us out. I feel like, the market still has some bearish pressure and this was an early entry. The reality is structure hasn't been broken yet. So the trade is still valid. So that's why it's important to recognize having a clearly mechanical system, because if you're going to rely on emotion, you're going to rely on like how you feel about the trade or how it's looking, whatever, then we're going to be making bad decisions, which is what I used to do all the time. I would allow my intuition to take lead and I'd just be making stupid choices. Now I allow myself to feel those things, right? Because you can't get away from the fact that like bro, this trade don't look that good. Like you should have just waited for the lower entry. That feeling or that thought process coming in. And then there's a reminder, because I understand my mechanical system, that regardless of what happens, I accepted the risk, number one. Number two, there's only two things that could happen. And I knew about that when I entered the trade. It could go up or go down. And as long as structure is not broken, the trade is still valid. So I have to hold just for the sake of, the trade is already valid. Why would I take a loss or a break even or just have wasted some time? And even if I just close at break even, what fees did I have to incur? Was there any commission? Was there any swaps involved in this trade just to find out? So I want to allow the trade to play out and not allow my emotions to dictate whether I stay in or jump ship. So decoupling your emotions from your behavior is absolutely, it's non-negotiable in trading. And obviously it's easier said than done, especially like if you're like in my daily life. I don't say I'm emotional. There are certain things that I am genuinely emotional about. I get pretty angry about certain stuff. I get pretty what to say, like I don't say enthusiastic, but I get very like competitive, like all these type things. But when I'm on the charts, at this point, I have been grinded to a nub. All right. I've lost so much. I've been through so much. And then now, thank God, I've won enough that I'm able to understand what I'm doing here and how to keep myself in check. But there were times where those mistakes were coming in. This is what they mean when they say patience pays. Ugh. All right, 10 more minutes and we'll hop off the stream. see if there's any more final questions. Or should I say Dwight Howard look-alike? Catching pips. Bro, are you hyping my head right now? Hey Roy, have you checked out the Darwin X platform? I think you would really like the setup. It seems a better setup than all the props. Dude, first off, they don't get enough recognition. Shout out to Darwin X. Shout out to what they're building over there. And shout out to their freaking team. Upstanding people, great product, keeping their head down and building for the community. I want to see Darwin X win. And I want to see them at the FX Summit too, so that we can help them build their brand and really help them get the recognition they deserve. So hopefully they show up to the summit in Dubai. We're going to be in contact with them. Either way, I'd love to set up some kind of partnership here pretty soon. That's one of those brands that I'm very, very I got high hopes for. Another one I'd like to give a shout out to is Umar and TradeZella. I think out of all the products and technology companies coming out today, I think TradeZella offers such a good user experience, a great team. They're building something that genuinely helps traders instead of takes advantage of their losing. And so I think this is, I like these companies that are not trying to take advantage of the losers. They recognize that most traders will lose, yes. But instead of building a business model to capitalize on that, like a dickhead, you create an environment that actually helps people. So let me give an example. It's like, well, dude, everyone's going to buy crack. Like if they don't buy it from me, they're going to buy it from someone else. Right? So it's like if they don't buy a prop account from us and we breach their stuff, somebody else is going to do it. Is that really what we're doing here? Is that really the game that we're playing? Versus let's start a clinic, a for-profit clinic for crack addiction. There's a difference. One of them is like, all right, there's ways to make money on this by helping people. The other one is like, oh, there's ways to make money on this by taking advantage of the 99% that have no hope. Oh, shout out to Darwin. Okay. Roy, FX needs someone competent to build a bunch of um, new platforms to log in on, like Trade Locker. I understand. It'd be nice if DX Trades could fucking log in so I don't miss my trade. I have not heard a single positive thing about DX Trades, and I was one of their big supporters early when the migration started happening. Let me be honest with y'all. C Trader is way better than DX Trades. And I'm only saying that as a user interface platform because we are in contact with DX Trades. Love you guys. But let's just be completely honest here. Every morning, we get 30, 40 messages before and during the stream of people that cannot access their DX Trade account and take these trades. And how many thousands of dollars has been flushed down the drain because of people not being able to enter these orders? That's fucking ridiculous. All right. If my Apple Music app doesn't open, okay, I don't get to listen to music. If my trading app won't open, I'm either going to lose money because if I'm in a trade, or I'm not going to make money, and that's my livelihood. That matters. And so these guys need to take their technology protocols a lot more seriously, security protocols more seriously, and they really need to hire a regulatory and compliance team. Because if you guys think that the futures firms and DX trades is going to be able to bypass the regulatory landscape that just hit FX, you're crazy. It's going to hit everybody. Okay. So I hope that they're putting in the work behind the scenes. Um, we will be doing the same. We'll be building something incredible for everybody, but we have to find the right product because if the regulatory environment is not clear, I don't want to become a Coinbase. I mean, I do, let's be honest, but Coinbase had done everything by the book, missed out on billions of dollars that FTX and Binance and Kraken and KuCoin, they were all making. Coinbase did everything by the book. They became a publicly listed company. They get audited monthly and quarterly. And the regulatory environment was so vague that even they started having issues. They were about to leave the States, and then they ended up suing the SEC. So it's like, I want to find the right way to help traders that won't put us in endless regulatory nonsense that will distract us from helping traders. I want to do it in a way that will just give you the edge. And we're fine, we found exactly what that is. So keep your eye on. We'll soon come. What just happened? Oh. All right, everybody, it's officially, or it's almost 10:30. I'm getting ready to hop off here. I want to stick around just long enough to see this trade play out, but there's a lot on my plate. I don't want to stay longer than needed. Mark off these levels on your chart. Keep in mind, the real buy opportunities are here between the 950 and 990 zone. This is where I'm looking for the re-entry later today. It may happen today, it may happen tomorrow. All right, and then there's sell opportunities at 340, but I'm using this sell zone as a take profit, not as an entry, because personally I only trade in the direction of the main trend. But if you're a counter trend trader, there's a very easy opportunity here for you at 350. So take advantage of that. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. We got everything done, got everything right. That's not even the worst. If you have a trade open and can't get back in to manage it, it's far worse. Yeah, that's horrible, guys. That's horrible. Wishing them the best. Wishing them the best. I wish all of the competitors the best because we need healthy competition in the market. Who wins when there's competition is the traders. Do we want to be sticking with MetaTrader for the rest of our lives? Honestly, like I could have, but if there's a better and sexier platform that'll just take me like a week to get used to, and then after I get used to it, I'll never go back. Give me the new thing. Give me the better thing. And so I love how everyone's competing over the user interface, how fast it is, not having issues, and market competition creates the best overall experience and product for the users. So shout out to everybody building. Best of luck to you, gents, and make sure you're doing it the right way and not cutting corners. Greetings, Roy. Is your NAS100 masterclass filled up? Not yet. There's still another week until registration ends, and so I'd make sure to go and secure your seat before it's too late. The link is in the description for the live class. You could also head over to chartaddictsfx.com, head directly to the live classes tab. Last reminder, because we're about to hop off here, FX Summit 2024 is the largest conference for traders. Make sure in the world. Make sure to plan ahead. It's about 8.5 months away. Plenty of time to save up, plenty of time to get your tickets, plenty of time to call off work, plenty of time to check your schedule and make sure that you're not double booked. You have so much time to make it to this event. Try your best to come to this experience. It's one of these life-changing things, it's like going to like a UFC fight. Everyone who's ever gone to a UFC fight, your first one, the only thing that you can think in your head is, why have I never been to one of these before? And this is the most unbelievable thing happening behind the scenes that I've ever been to. And that's how I feel at the summit. Now, clearly I'm on stage, there's the pressure there, but just seeing it all come to life, seeing all the traders from around the world, seeing all the brands cooperating instead of like beefing, seeing the collaboration instead of the problems, seeing the networking and seeing life-changing conversations, the honesty, the ego going out the window, and everyone just kind of being in that environment. Nothing better. Grab your tickets, fxsummit2024.com. Early bird tickets end at the end of this month. All right, we're getting a rejection here. Finally back in profits. If you're in profits, put something in the chat before you hop off. And I think we must have lost most of the viewers thinking that we were ending the stream. How did we go from 180 down to 51? What just happened? I tried to make an account on Darwin X. They said no because I'm a US resident. They must have changed last week because I'm trading with them and I'm from the US. Damn. Greetings, Roy. Is your NAS filled up? Checkout tab on your site is grayed out. Oh, yeah, it should be good now. Should be good now. Should be good now. Should be good now. You secure your seat. You go one ticket. Yep, should be good. All right. If you're a Chart Addicts member or you've taken a master class before, you get 50% off future master classes. So if you haven't put in that code or you don't see it automatically, make sure that you're signed in with the same email that you took the first class. You should see the discount automatically displayed. If not, please reach out to our team. We will make sure that you are taken care of. All right, everybody. Yeah, I mean, prices at break even. If you want to be out this trade, wait for a better entry. This is your chance. This is your chance right now. If you decide to hold and accept the risk. And yeah, this is the moment of truth. All right. Happy, safe trading, everybody. Take it easy, Chart Addicts members. We'll keep this discussion going in the private members chat, and I'll keep you guys updated on this trade, any re-entries, and where I take profits. Okay. Happy and safe trading, everybody. Take it easy. Peace.